Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and today's episode, I don't really have a title for it. I'm just going to call it Reframing Your Mind. So I had this thought, and I started writing it down in my notebook, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So if you're interested, as always, keep on listening. And this thought that I had, I don't want it to come off as insensitive, and I'm going to make sure that I'm not translating it that way. But I think it's important to reframe your mind and unlearn things. And I think success happens when people do reframe their mind and learn new behaviors. And that's when you thrive. So what prompted this was I have an uncle, and he had made a post on Facebook, and he used the term, some people are doing the best that they can. And I respect that and I understand that, but I want to break that down a little bit. So I thought about it for a second, and instead of using the term the best that I can, I prefer the best that I was taught. There's always going to be an up level, and that's okay if we don't know what that is right now or how to get there, but that's why we learn. We learn from others who have done it. We've never been taught. So how could you know how to be better? We learn. So think about that the next time you hear the phrase, the best I can, and consider, do you have the tools to do better, or instead to get you to that better place or that goal? If you do, what's blocking you? Unblock that or learn those tools from others. Seek out that knowledge to get you to that better place you envision. And I don't want to discount people that are experiencing hard times and are in hard situations where just getting through the day, paying your bills is a feat in itself. And if you get stuck in that place, you get stuck. It can be hard to see the other side when you are in the trenches. And so I don't want to discount that. At this time and place, you may be doing the best you can with the current situation. But if you are pushing yourself to learn new tools from others who are where you want to be, you're doing better. Like I said, there's always going to be an up level. You can always do better. You can be doing the best that you were taught how to do right now, the best in your current situation. But the word can to me is strong. Saying that it's the best that you can is not true, because you can do better. Circumstances are maybe putting you in a place right now where it's tough. It's tougher to get there. It'll take more time to get there. But saying what you're doing right now is the best that you can do is not true. It doesn't matter what type of action you're taking, but if you are taking some type of action to get you to that next place where you want to be, that is doing the best that you can, in my opinion. So that, I just thought that was a little bit of a mind shift moment. And I know a lot of people from the town that I grew up, not to generalize people, but there are a lot of people that weren't taught to do better. They were taught maybe to do the minimum and not to achieve and aspire for other things, simply because they didn't have any role models that were doing these things. And so they're doing the best that they were taught. And one of the reasons that I do this podcast is so that I can teach others to do the things that they want to do. It's not impossible to open up your own business as an esthetician. Can it be challenging? Yeah. But if you have tools from people who have already done it, that's all the help that you need. You can do it. You can do literally anything that you want to do. You can do it. You just have to have the tools. And sometimes you have to learn the tools from others. And something I want to talk about is what's blocking you. So if you feel like you're doing the best you can right now and you have that little bit of a negative mindset, maybe like, oh, well, this is what I'm capable of. And so I'm in a tough spot right now. What's keeping you in that tough spot? What's blocking you? It might be your mindset. First of all, you really need to address that. And it might be more realistic things, like you are working a job that takes up a lot of your time and it supplies you with the money that you need to pay your bills, just enough. And you feel like maybe you don't have the time to dedicate to other things that you're more passionate about. I don't know if this is a good example or not, but let's just say you have this job. Maybe you didn't go to college and get any other skills, and you feel like this is where you're stuck, and this is what you're capable of, and this is the best that you can do. Well, right there, you're limiting yourself. You're saying, this is the best that I can do. This is all I'm capable of. It does sometimes take money to do things, but not all the time. There are resources. If you have a passion and you want to go to school for something, there are grants. I went to beauty school and had it paid for with a grant, and I still worked from after I got out of school until like 10 p.m. at night, and was scraping by to pay my car payment, my insurance, my phone bill, my gas. Like, sometimes I did not have enough money to eat lunch, and I understand being in the trenches, and it was a hindrance for me, but it didn't keep me from doing what I wanted to do, because I understood, hey, life's tough right now. I'm young, and I'm in the trenches, and it's tough, but I still was dedicated, and I did what I had to do. And I understand that some people have tougher life situations, which do make things harder. I would have had a really hard time if I also had to pay rent and an electric bill and all that. Luckily, I live with my sister and my brother-in-law, so I did not have to pay rent or anything like that. So I know that some people may have it harder, but I don't want you to discount yourself and say, this is the best that I can do, this is my life, I have to accept this, what else am I going to do, I don't have any other options. You always have options. So it comes to problem solving, brainstorming, elevating your frame of mind, finding inspiration in others. You can do whatever you want to do. The path is harder for some than it is others, but there are some inspirational stories out there, and people can literally come from nothing and make their self something, and it doesn't matter what your situation is. You can get from point A to point B. You might go in a couple different directions instead of like a linear path, but I just kind of wanted to give people a different perspective on that. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. You can follow me on social media at Elevated Beauty Aesthetics, or on my esthetician shop, which is Shop Cryptic Skin. That is where I sell esthetician themed apparel that is supernatural in nature and kind of kitschy designs for the modern esthetician. So as always, I will see you guys next Monday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.